It is Thursday.
Yes, it is.
It is. What's up, everybody?
It is 6 p.m.
Yeah.
So, you guys know what that means. It's time for another installment of That's My Story. This Thursday, we're on episode 8. I go by the name of Midas, Jerry Midas Hardison. Co-hosting along with me is Mr. Brandon Stevens and Mr. Morris Jenkins. AKA the legendary Mr. Ken Knox. How you guys doing today?
Doing great. I need some work on my AC. I don't know call when the show is over.
Pick up the phone and call.
So that's who they're talking about anytime we hear the Morris Jenkins commercial.
Especially locally.
Yes, it did. Well, we're excited about this evening show, but I guess we do like we normally do, give everyone an opportunity to jump on and join us. I'm going to get all of my features set up here so I can kind of keep an eye on things. And ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time, welcome to That's My Story, where we have a discussion, interactive chat with our friends that are also artists, musicians, producers, and we allow them to share their story with us and with you all as far as elaborating on their musical journeys. So personally, I've enjoyed it. Week after week is just a big musical education for myself. So we're going to keep that going today.
Absolutely.
Make sure you like and share the video. If you're on Facebook right now, that's great. You can also join us live over on YouTube.
Yes, absolutely.
We have a link. There we go. We have a link available for that. So folks, take a moment, go over to YouTube. You can watch it there. You can also definitely like the page and subscribe because once we upload new content, you will be sure to be notified immediately. Immediately. Let me make sure I'm on good, guys. And ladies and gentlemen, feel free to drop us a comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Shout out to all of our Charlotte fam and friends. Shout out to all of our UK family and friends and all surrounding areas in between.
Let me shout out to Andre Ferrari, who played with our guest in the band.
Okay, he's in the feed.
Huh?
He's in the feed right now.
He's in the feed. Andre.
Okay.
He said ha and safely. And we also have Rick Langford, another musician.
Okay. All right.
Oh, we got Virginia in the house.
Virginia's in the house. Oh yeah, Virginia, okay. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia.
Absolutely.
The UK is in the building.
Good afternoon.
Up, yes, they are.
My friend Ellie,
hey, Ellie.
From the UK.
Ellie, there's your mom.
My mom's on. Hey, Mom. I spoke to her earlier. She told me she was going to be tuned in. Mom, I appreciate you joining us week after week. Appreciate your support so much.
How you doing?
That's Sarah Black.
Miss Vivian Agers is on. Marty is on. I can't. That last name throws me. I'm not even going to try it. Sweet Nikki. What's up, buddy?
Yeah. Sylvia Collins. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Miss Crystal Stewart is on. Yeah. Hattie Rogers is on.
Detroit's in the house.
Sarah Black out in Lexington, North Carolina. So hospitable to us every year at the barbecue festival. She's on.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Debbie McFadden.
The chairperson of the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame, the chairman of the board.
She was also a guest of ours 2 weeks ago. Her and her brother Ron McFadden.
Great show.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Speaking of great show, what do you you want to bring our guest on?
Yes, we can do that. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight our special guest is a saxophonist. He covers several genres of music, including jazz, beach, funk, gospel. He's also the artistic director for the First Friday Jazz at the Bechtler Museum right here in our backyard of Charlotte, North Carolina. without any further ado, please help us bring on Mr. Ziad Rabie.
What's up, man?
He is.
What's going on?
What's up, my man?
What an honor and a pleasure to be here with you guys, man, especially my friend Ken Knox from so many years back, man.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I made him swear not to tell certain stories about me.
Well, we got to tell them all today. We got to.
Oh, no. Oh, no. You know what? That photo was taken at the Bechtler, correct?
It was.
Yes. You invited me down to see your series, the series that you put on at the Bechtler Museum. I met your mom that night, your brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Brandon and Midas know I met our boy. What's his name? Jabril Huff.
Oh, Jabril. Yeah.
Jabril was that.
Jabril knows everybody and he's everywhere. He's the closest thing to Santa Claus in a human form.
I'm standing in line, and he walks up and said, tap on the shoulder, Chairman of the Board. I said, man, my mom.
Yeah, I always post on his Facebook page. He's always posting pictures of himself with famous people. So I'm like, you know all the famous people.
He knows everybody. He gets all the backstage credentials, you know.
Right.
Wonderful guy, though. I had no idea. We have to have him on just to tell us how he does this thing. Yeah, man. Go ahead, kid.
So, Zia, how did it get started for you? You know, what was your motivation to even pick up a musical instrument?
Well, you know, my dad owned a nightclub. He was originally Palestinian, and he moved to America. And he met my mom, and when I was 3, he got in the nightclub business. He had a big nightclub called the Pecan Grove Supper Club, and Count Basie played there. Little Richard, Jerry Lee Lewis, the original Coasters, Drifters, Platters, all the big names.
Right.
Nice.
And so, I was constantly around it and meeting some of the musicians as a kid. And then I started playing saxophone in 5th grade at age 10. And by the time I was 13, I was starting to play a little bit by ear. And my dad would take me to work with him sometimes during the day, and they had a DJ booth up there. And back then it was 45s. And, so I stole this 45 of Clarence Carter. And it said Stroking on the A side. There was a song on the B side that I played all the time. I'd stay in my room with this little record player and just jam to this song because it touched me so much. And when you're a kid, you imitate that emotion and you imitate. And so I really got soul playing to this song. And the name of the song was Patches. And so as I grew older and became, an adult, I had this band. I was with a band called Spectrum, and we had a house gig playing jazz fusion at this Ramada Inn on Independence near the old Coliseum.
Okay.
And I would see General Johnson coming in there, checking in all the time. I'd be on a break, and I'm like, that's General Johnson. And
sweet.
Then I was fortunate enough to meet him and meet Ken and Danny and Ken and General and I kind of hit it off, and that's when I found out that he actually wrote the song. And I had this really moving experience to be able to tell him, how much that song meant to me, and that I got soul playing to his song. And I think one of my greatest experiences in music was my band opened for him once at Charlotte's largest office party or something years ago.
Right.
And I told him that story about it, the song, and he had re-recorded it, and they did it on stage, and he dedicated it to me, and that was really meant a lot.
Wow, that's awesome, man.
That's big moments of my life.
Yes, indeed.
I remember that night. It was you guys were incredible, and it was a great concert from the two bands.
That's nice
I was gonna say Patches, man, is such a since we're talking about it, such an emotional song, and I think that song anybody that loves their family, you know what I'm saying? Like that song, it pulls on that emotion of, you know, especially like a dad who's kind of almost on the verge of leaving the world, and he's just kind of giving his son a message like, this is what I need you to do, you know. So it's all about like losing the son losing a father, but at the same time the father is putting that stamp on the son, like you're the man of the house now.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah, so it's
and I was
very
13, you know, and all I wanted to do was you know, grow up to take care of my parents. So I guess it just touched me in many more ways than one. And
nice.
I felt like I was trying to imitate the emotion in that song, and I feel like that's really the beginning of me feeling like I had some soul, you know.
Absolutely, man, absolutely. And you definitely have soul, and we get into all of this as we progress with the discussion, but you've also done some gospel work and some funk things and all of that, so we're gonna definitely get into that. So so you were a teenager when you said you picked up the saxophone.
Yeah, well, I was 10
and then
old.
Okay, gotcha.
And then I was 13 when I started playing with that song. And then as I got into I was in the school system. So by the time I got to high school, I actually got into the jazz ensemble.
Okay.
And that's when I really started playing. And I got to meet Count Basie because my dad came up to, we went to see their band in Raleigh at a little club. And my dad was working there and found out from my mom I was there. So we were supposed to watch one set, and then somehow I talked to Jimmy Forrest, the guy who wrote Night Train.
Okay.
And with my shy self, and got him to he called Basie over. He said, "These guys are from Charlotte. They want to stay for second set." So we got to see second set. So now I was a hero with the band. Then my dad comes. He says, "I'll take you back to Charlotte." So I watched the third set, and then I stayed up with Count Basie for an hour, getting to talk to him with my dad.
That's incredible.
Motivated, you know, and and I had a good friend that I was close to. Sadly, we lost him in 1980 from negligence during operation, but he was a guitarist, and he turned me on this album, Edgar Winter and White Trash. And that was a really inspiring record. And me and Ken have been reliving that last couple of days.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Brandon and Midas, you need to check out Edgar Winter and White and the White Trash, or White Trash. Their live album from the Apollo.
Okay.
And Ziad knows they were the first white group even to play the Apollo.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
What style of music is it? Is it funk or what?
It's funk, rock, gospel, funk, rock. It's a little bit of everything, but I'd say it's gospel, rock, funk.
Nice.
I'm gonna have to go back and do my Googles. And that's another reason I love this show.
1972, it was a record that still holds up today. I mean, it's just, timeless.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. I that's one of the aspects of the show that I enjoy, being on weekly. And I know I say it to you guys, but we get a chance to further our music knowledge, and just soak up a lot of game, from guys who have pioneered the way before myself. And speaking, I guess I could speak for Brandon as well, because we're kind of a generation after. So, that's a lovely thing that we enjoy about the show week in and week out.
Yeah, I feel you, man. It's like, it's an amazing opportunity to hear these stories and get some backstories on some of the really cool stuff,
Absolutely. Yes. All right.
So after meeting Count Basie, so what was next? Did you start your own band, or did you start playing in other bands?
I went on the road, right? Well, I was in college. I played jazz throughout college, and I was in the Wake Forest Jazz Ensemble.
Wake Forest.
Oh, right. Hold that picture right there.
That's University.
Young Ziad.
Yeah, there's the young Ziad with the afro.
Yeah.
Nice.
And,
nice.
I don't know what happened to my hair, man. But, but we had a lot of fun, when I was in college, and I was in the Wake Forest Jazz Ensemble, and played with a lot of musicians that I happened to meet around the area. And actually paid all my expenses in school. You know, I had this opportunity. My parents struggled to send me to college. So I got 2 degrees. I double majored in a pre-law curriculum. I got a degree in philosophy and another degree in political science. I was supposed to go to law school, but I followed my heart into music. And one of the guys that I played with in college, the guy named Matt Ballesteros, he started a record label eventually in New York City called Palmetto Records, a jazz label. And he went back home to Knoxville and turned me on to one of the top 3 jazz educators in the world. He ended up having written 19 books on jazz improvisation.
Oh my!
And he set me up to study with him privately. It was really fortunate. It sort of changed my course because that opportunity allowed me to study with someone like that. It took me to another level as a player. 3.5 years privately with him, and I was gigging at, we had a house gig at that same Ramada Inn I mentioned earlier, where I used to see General. And I'd go drive to Knoxville every 2 weeks, have a lesson, drive back, and we played a gig that night. And I did that for a long time. And yeah, we were killing it, man. We were doing all the songs everybody wanted to hear. Ken knows how that works.
Yeah.
And
got to do that.
You know, and we were real successful. We had a big line at the door 4 nights a week. And then when that eventually fizzled out, I got in a band with Jane Powell. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she's one amazing singer from Roanoke, Virginia.
Okay.
And she was a big training ground for me. I learned so much from her about stage presence and being yourself. And I was with her for 6 years. That was probably one of the bigger learning experiences for me overall was working with her.
Nice. Now, you say you studied under someone who was a very influential musician. Could you tell us a little more about that person?
Yeah, Jerry Coker.
Jerry Coker. Okay.
Coker, C-O-K-E-R. He was in the Woody Herman band, Stan Kenton band back in the day, and played with just about everybody. And he was really kind of a supernatural individual. Like I said, he wrote 19 books on jazz improvisation.
Yeah, that's a lot of books.
Wow.
And they're all incredible. And one of them I was studying out of it with him when it was a manuscript. It hadn't been published yet, called The Complete Method for Improvisation. But his ears were something like supernatural. I remember one time, we were working on playing over altered type chord changes.
Okay.
And he said, I want you to play this song. And he had these Music -1 recordings. And so the whole song was 32 bars and it's 3 choruses. And every chord in there was altered, but 1 regular minor 7 chord, which might be a little too much theory for this conversation. But anyway, I got to this. I played all the chord scales right, and he listened to me play 3 chords, and he's like listening like this, and then he said, "Yeah, you're getting it," And in the second chorus, I played 1 note, a half step away from the correct note in the scale for that chord, and he said, "You sounded great. You made all the chord changes except for that C you hit in the second chorus and named the change instead of the C sharp you were supposed to." I was just like, okay.
And he caught that just listening to you play.
Just listening, man. Name the chord, name the note, name the chain, everything. And it's just he was really supernatural guy. I don't know how to else to explain it.
Wow, that's
and it was my great fortune to even be around him and be taught by him.
Yeah,
he took me forward by leaps and bounds. He told me, he said, by coming here, he said, I'm gonna teach you what it would without this stuff I'm gonna teach you, it would take you 10 to 12 years to figure it out on your own.
Wow.
So that was kind of the beauty of it,
Yeah.
Gave you some shortcuts.
Yeah. And it's also supernatural to write 19 books.
Yeah, wow.
So his knowledge must have been really extensive as far as things he was able to hear and translate that into I guess in verbiage, book wise.
Right.
That's amazing.
What was most amazing about him is that it wasn't just a book on technique or technical theory stuff, but it was a book about the aesthetics of playing music, how to make music with this information. You know, a lot of people just give you the information, say, oh, these scales, that, but it's really about making music. It's about touching people. It's about emotion. And if you can't use this information to do that, then you're wasting your time. And so that's one of the things that impressed me most about his approach was like, this is just a bunch of notes till you do something with it.
That's true. That's true. Did he play a specific instrument himself?
Saxophone.
Saxophone. Okay, so he's a lot of saxophone talking here today, guys.
Yeah, and piano. He played piano too. But he was
Okay, cool, man.
Cool.
Yeah.
The Spectrum band, Andre Ferrari was in that band, right?
That was a band called Projections, and I played with them my senior year in college.
Okay.
So we were playing clubs, and I was writing philosophy papers on breaks, you know, out of my car.
Gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah, go back in and play, you know.
Yeah, gotta do what you gotta do.
Get back to Winston-Salem at 4:30 in the morning, you know, 9 o'clock class, 8 o'clock class.
Oh, wow.
Man, and that in itself describes like the passion that we have for music. You know, we'll go to wits end sometime to figure out how to do a gig and how to make all of our other obligations work as well. So that's
right.
It's passion.
Yeah, passion is the word.
How comfortable were you? I'm a sax player, as you know. How comfortable were you when, let me just say that you're pretty much a great player. Now, when you were offered the position at the Bechtler, how confident were you to take that?
That's an interesting story. I was playing with Mo Money. The agency booked us to play. It was kind of a scaled down version. I think there was only 4 of us.
Okay.
For New Year's Eve on December 31st, New Year's Eve, right before the turn from 2009 to 2010. And so we played the big party that night, and the museum opened its doors on January 2nd, 2010. And my girlfriend, Jennifer Shea, was a docent there. You know, she loves art. She's got a theater background, and she's a lawyer. I was supposed to be a lawyer, became a musician. She was a theater person, became a lawyer.
Yeah.
But so she had a love for the arts, and she started talking to Christopher Lawing, who was the vice president at the time when they opened, and my collaborator and partner in crime for 10 years. And she said, you know, you should have a music series here. Or he said something about a music series. She says, you should have a jazz series, because all the art in the museum was created during the 50s and 60s, which is the same era that, you know, bebop and traditional jazz really had its heyday and origin. So he said, well, who could we get? I don't know who we would get. And she told him me. And so,
gotta love it.
He goes, well, that guy was playing Prince tunes. So he calls me up and he says, she said, I'm telling you, he can do it. So he calls me up and he says, can you play Monk and Miles and Train? I thought it was a prank call, honestly. Almost hung up on him. I said, who is this? Christopher Lawing, the Bechtler Museum. Yeah. So we started talking, and I just thought it was going to be a couple of gigs or some laid back museum gig, and, you know, it'd be fun. So we did the first 2 outside, and the first one was 30 people, and the second one was like maybe 60 to 90 people.
Nice, just growing.
And then we brought it inside in July because it was so hot, and 400 people showed up.
Wow.
And so it was sold out ever since then, and we had to scramble to figure out how to make it sustainable, how to accommodate, and that's why Christopher was so instrumental in helping it become successful. He knew all the right things to do. I just had to put the shows together and play.
Yeah,
that's great. And
speaking of playing, I think we have a clip of you at the Bechtler.
Let's go to it.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very
I noticed you were hitting a low note at the beginning of the phrase.
Yeah.
Yeah, put a little twist on it. That was your idea.
I got that from Grover, man.
Ah, okay,
Awesome.
okay.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah.
used to like really idolize Grover Washington for so many reasons, and got to meet him one night. I met him in college.
Oh, right there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
One of the great jazz saxophonists
Yes,
of the
indeed.
last 40 years.
Yes, indeed.
And just really quickly to fill our viewers in on the Bechtler Museum, that is one of the most beautiful museums that we have in Charlotte. It's located in the heart of Uptown Charlotte. So we feature 20th century artworks by artists like Picasso and Andy Warhol, and some very rare works.
Yeah.
And, I've had the pleasure of visiting a couple of times, and because I was actually an art major in college and ended up becoming a musician. So we all college. I don't know. It's like college, you end up doing the opposite thing of what you.
Yeah, it's great for networking and building relationships.
Yeah, so the Bechtler Museum, a very prestigious museum in the heart of Uptown Charlotte.
Right.
And
so we found some really interesting connections, between jazz and modern art of that era, because a lot of the jazz players were influenced by the artists, and a lot of the artists were influenced by the jazz musicians. Like John Coltrane's recording Blue Train, the way it's tinted blue that cover was inspired by the Blue Period by Picasso.
Yeah.
And Jackson Pollock, who was a famous modern art guy from that era, used to fling paint, and he would have like bebop music playing like 24 hours, and he'd just be in a trance, and they're doing it. So a lot of these people had these interconnections,
Yeah, and both art, music is a form of artistic expression as well. So they kind of go hand in hand. Now, before the coronavirus and all of that, you guys were doing concerts every first Friday of the month. Is that correct?
Yeah, every first Friday there's a show at 6 and 8:15. And originally we were doing one show with an intermission, but honestly, they were turning away so many people that we went to 2 shows. So then in 2013, we started selling out 2 shows.
That's awesome.
So there's like 550 to 600 people per night each first Friday.
Man.
And in 2005, we were able to, because of the success of the series, we were able to sort of upgrade the presentation, and we were able to bring in some, famous artists, Chris Brubeck, Dave Brubeck's son, Russell Malone, a guitarist who played with Diana Krall, Sonny Rollins, Harry Connick, and T.S. Monk, Thelonious Monk, the third T.S. Monk's son. And we did a cool thing with him. Oh, there is a picture.
There we go.
Yeah.
He was he had some R&B hits. He had some R&B hits at one point. He was an R&B band. And he told me this great story about how, some tragedy happened to 2 main people in the band along with him. He was pretty devastated, so he kind of just dropped out of the music thing for a while. And then this thing started happening with the Thelonious Monk Institute. And they came to Charlotte and did a bunch of like 12 or so schools in Charlotte, in North Carolina, rather. He and Max Roach, the famous drummer. And so Charlotte meant a lot to him, because that was where he really restarted his, jump-started his music career again, was right here in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Wow.
That's his dad is in the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame.
Correct.
So Max Roach.
Well, I was there, and when they inducted Thelonious Monk into the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame, I was there playing with a guy and didn't even know that he said, we might have to go in this room and play a song. And we go in there and find out that they're inducting him into the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame, and we're supposed to do a tribute song. So I was like, we had to like on the spot, like step it up and try to represent,
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. And again, we have Miss Debbie McFadden on the feed, the chairwoman of the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame, which the chairmen of the board are also members of. You know,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely. So Ziad, some of your, well, let me ask you this first. I want to get ahead of myself. So would you say that Grover Washington was one of your influences?
Definitely.
Okay.
Most definitely. I mean, I got to meet him in college when I was at the Wake Forest Jazz Ensemble. I was a sophomore, and he came there, and they let the jazz ensemble open up for him.
Okay.
And so I went backstage to meet him, and he was so welcoming and so nice a person. And he said, "You got some solos, man?" I said, "Yeah, I'm playing solo on this funk thing by Woody Herman, you know, arrangement." He goes, "Now I'm gonna check you out." Well, I didn't believe that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I felt good to meet him. Well, I got up to play my solo, and I looked to the right, and he was in the wings, man, like jamming, moving and grooving, like, you know, and it was like, I don't know, this was the most uplifting thing. And I met him again a couple years later at Ovens Auditorium, and he gave us backstage passes. He remembered me. And then in '93, he was here with Nancy Wilson, and Maria Howell was knew the Nancy Wilson band, and they were double billed, and they were here a day early to rehearse. And Grover said, "Where can we go jam?" And that's where that picture was taken. She brought him out to this gig at the Park Hotel we were playing.
Oh, okay.
And, he sat in all night. George Butler was with him, and I said, "You want to do some of your tunes, man?" He goes, "No, I want to play what you played. Y'all are playing." So we were playing everything from Sam and Dave, you know, When Something's Wrong with My Baby, to Strange by Cameo. He was playing the hell out of all of it.
Wow.
And we stayed up till 4 a.m. talking and drinking champagne, you know. And I told him about my aspirations at the time. He said, "Man, you're already successful." He said, "Look at this place." He said, and he made this comment that really stuck with me. He said, if the music is jamming and people are there jamming that are there to see it, what else is there? That's
true. That's it in a nutshell. You know, that's pretty cut and dry, actually.
10 people or 30,000. It's just you know. Gotta give it up, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Did you have any other people that you would say were influences as far as playing sax is concerned?
John Coltrane, Sonny Rollins, David Sanborn, Michael Brecker, Jimmy Heath, who just passed recently, Benny Golson. I mean, all the great saxophone players, Charlie Parker. I mean, you can't get away from, I mean, there were talents that are almost indescribable, you know, when you use the word supernatural. And I have a close friend, Ron Holloway, who's a huge mentor for me. And he's close friends with Sonny Rollins, you know, and Sonny made a comment that I read that I thought summed it up when it comes to music. He said, "I'm still living, so I'm still practicing."
Nice.
You know, and that's really, that says it in one sentence, you know.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to say that, I got a question. I'm not going to say this guy's an influence, but I think he impresses you a lot. James Carter.
James Carter. What an amazing player. Actually, I think my friend Ron, Ron Holloway, who played with, that's how I met Dizzy, was, Ron played with him for the last 4 years of his life. And he played with Gil Scott-Heron before that. And, so, we had, he actually, the mouthpiece I played came from Ron. He was playing those type of mouthpieces. I'm like, that's the sound I got to have. That's just amazing. And as we became friends, he turned me on to James Carter, because James Carter came to his house years and years ago and bought a bunch of those mouthpieces, which he still plays today. I don't know if they're the exact ones, but he bought a bunch of those type of mouthpieces from Ron because he knew Ron had them. And that's when I first got turned on to him. And man, I don't know, man. He's another supernatural cat, man. If somebody told me he was an alien, I would be
you would believe it. There's some guys out there like that, man. It just,
I wouldn't just discount it. Like he might be,
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Debbie McFadden had a party, and James was there playing with his two brothers, Rob and Kevin.
Yeah, cool.
We were invited, but I couldn't get up there. But so Ziad and myself, we spoke to Kevin yesterday, James Carter's brother, and so I think we may have a hookup, right, Ziad?
I hope so, man. I told Ron about it today and on the phone, and
Okay.
I hope that it would be a joy just to talk to him. And I told Ken about this thing Ron turned me on to that James Carter did. It was a tribute to John Coltrane in Philadelphia. It's all just saxophone. There were no other musicians, all by himself.
Oh, really?
And if you go on YouTube and check it out, James Carter Coltrane tribute, it's mind-boggling.
Wow.
Really?
All saxophone.
Just him.
All saxophone, tenor and soprano. He picks up the soprano halfway through and plays that for a while before he goes back to tenor. It's truly, the things that he can get out of a saxophone are just remarkable. Remarkable.
Right. Now you mentioned Dizzy Gillespie.
Yeah.
I think you have a photo with you, Dizzy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
We got to have a little trivia, see if anybody out there knows what Dizzy Gillespie's hometown is.
I think I know.
Guess I don't get to play because I know.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Oh, you guys know?
Yeah.
Okay. Good. What is it?
Chirac, South Carolina.
Guess who else hometown that is?
Yours.
Mine.
Yeah.
Shout out to all my friends and family in Chirac, South Carolina, home of Dizzy Gillespie. They're gonna maybe put my name on next to his on the sign one day.
Does he have a statue in Chirac?
No, he needs to have one.
Okay.
There's a housing complex, that's named after him, but that's about it. But yeah, we might need to get on that. We need to give him something of a higher level of validation, just for the work he's done as a musician and for the genre of jazz. He's an excellent musician.
Right.
I see my mom. My mom said that she knows. I just saw in the comments. My mom, she's back at home. She said, "I know."
She says her hometown too.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So I just want to have a little fun with that. It's a little fun fact, real quick. That's all.
Yeah. Well, Train grew up in High Point. When I was in college, I knew this pianist named Bill Bright, who was remarkable, and he gave me a lesson, a couple times. And he told me that he used to go to jam sessions up in the Greensboro area. And Train would come in and they wouldn't let him play because they wouldn't even let him sit in because he was no good at the time.
Oh, really?
Then he became Coltrane. He got good.
Yeah.
To put it mildly. And he said they went by to see him in New York one time, and they were him and a couple guys like Kenny Dorham and were going into town, and Train didn't want to come. He was practicing the key of F sharp, and it was like, about 11 in the morning. They came back through by his house that night. He was still in there practicing the key of F sharp. So there's the dedication, that explains how it happened. But I think Train is one of the greatest examples of spirit power in music. You have to feel it 10 times more than the person listening to it to make them feel it.
Yeah, spirit power.
He had the spirit power coming through his horn. I don't care if he played one note or 20,000. There was something unique about him, and I used to read that Santana used to listen to go to sleep with Coltrane playing in his headphones, and I know he didn't think he was going to wake up playing exactly the same licks that Coltrane played on saxophone on the guitar, but his subconscious absorbed that spirit. So and that emotion, I think, and that was the purpose. And so I started doing it. And I don't know if it helped me or not, but I hope so, because,
that makes sense.
They say if you draw a circle and put a dot in the middle, that the middle is your conscious mind and everything outside the dot is your subconscious mind. So maybe we could program it with some good stuff.
Yeah. I like that term, spirit power.
Yeah.
I like that term because I guess like you said a little while ago, ultimately the goal is to play your music where people can actually feel it. And then we have to, as the musician, we have to feel it first in order for that to be transferred.
Correct.
Yeah,
I agree. That's my philosophy. And when people say, "Well, you have it," they always use that. you know,
The it factor.
The it factor. I think that's really it. The ability to convey emotion, make other people feel what you're feeling.
I think we have another clip. We'll definitely give you some feeling.
Which one? Which clip are we going for?
I think it's At Last, you and
the jazz band.
What's her name?
Nice. Some classic Etta James. Look at this. This guy is a trip.
My man.
See?
Yeah.
Cutlass, man. Cutlass.
Oh man. And we got
you know, that transported over to the audience. They screaming. Yeah. You know, I mean, that's feeling, man.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm proud of you, man, because I'm proud to say that I've seen you grow since I've been in the area. You know, we come from a different genre, but at the same time, we played the same genre when we first met. And you have taken yourself to another level, and you're a great player, man.
Yeah.
Well, that's very nice of you to say, and it means a lot coming from you, Ken. You have been like an amazing person in my life, and we met when I was maybe 21 or 22, and you know, I always looked up to you, and your ability to do what you did was always remarkable. And general, everything y'all did was really, you know, something that everyone can aspire to and be inspired by. And you were that for me. The fact that you guys, you know, I'd go to the studio and man, General would just stop what y'all were recording and say, man, sit down, listen to this. You know,
nice.
Yeah.
And we would just like have a moment, man. You know, you just take 20 minutes out of the time and just start playing me songs. And
yeah,
you know, I just felt like we bonded on another level, man. And
absolutely.
I have the ultimate respect as a musician and a person for you, Ken.
Well, I appreciate it.
Cool. Saxophone is a high energy instrument, man.
Oh yeah,
high energy, and people love to hear it. It's almost like a rock guitar, you know, very, very similar. Here's a thought for the people at home, because playing sax is a lot of wind and breath and breathing and whatnot. Myself, when I'm playing keyboards, I'm just using my fingers. My breathing is not an issue. Could you mind elaborating, just kind of explaining to the people at home who are watching the breathing that's involved with playing something like that?
Well, it's very much like a singer, you know, and that's why, you know, it's easy for Ken to play saxophone because he's a singer. And it's the same thing. I mean, the air support, the diaphragm, without that, you really you're not going to have a tone. And that's where it all comes from.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's a lot of technical aspects to it, you know, playing long tones and trying to get center to your sound. But, that's the tedious part that nobody enjoys.
Yeah. He's giving them the overview, the condensed version.
Yeah.
You know?
Can you ask any questions? Anybody have any questions? I see.
We're gonna take a moment to. Eubanks
really
is
no
on
at this time. Not really.
Shout out to Martin Law over in the UK.
Martin, what's going on?
Yeah.
My sister Faith Hardison Godbold is on.
Faith,
I'm having a little family reunion on here today.
Nice.
Ziad, really quickly, could you tell us the name of the vocalist who was featured with you in that clip of At Last at the museum?
Yes, Tony Tuppence. And she is married to Tyrone Jefferson, and together they have a wonderful group that they've had a long time called Sign of the Times.
Yeah.
And a
I'm familiar with
nonprofit.
them.
Yeah, and you know, they're forwarding the mission of Black history and expressing music and through music with their nonprofit, and they're involved. They're building a big new research and library and venue for music and various things they're working on. They're really forward motion people. I love them. And you know, Tyrone played with James Brown for 27 years.
Wow.
Music director for him.
Yeah. Speaking of James Brown, you had the opportunity to do some work with James as well, correct?
I did. It was a stroke of luck, actually.
How did that come about?
My friend Rod Shelton, who's going to be on with you guys at
Rodney, what's up, buddy? If you're watching,
yeah, he got a call from Reflections Studio, and apparently Mr. Brown was moved by killing in schools in California at that time, around the 2002 or something like that, and he wanted to do this song about it. So he had a song called "Killings Out, Schools In." And they were trying to find a studio, and his producer Derek Monk found Reflection Studio. They needed someone to help out with bringing in some synthesizers, calling up sound so they could get this track down so he could come up and sing it. And Rod was that guy. And he told Derek about me, and you know, I got to go hang out and got to meet Mr. Brown, which was quite an experience.
I bet.
And you know, I ended up playing on some of the songs.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
That's great.
And you, oh, go ahead, kid.
No, go ahead.
No. You did. Were you trying to recognize a question?
Yeah, it was a question.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
It says, ask Ziad about entrance about Edward Winter. Oh, does he mean Edgar Winter?
Edgar Winter.
Ask Ziad about entrance. I don't know what he's saying. Is he saying entrance?
I don't see it right off. I'm trying to.
Rick Langford right here.
Can we pop it up, or is that possible? Okay, there we go.
He means Edgar, I think.
Okay, entrance about Edgar Winter.
I'm not sure exactly what he means.
Well, we tried.
Who are some of the other artists that you've played with or appeared on records with, Ziad?
Well, there's a number of them, but John P. Key, I did some stuff, recordings with him.
Get into this gospel.
I was on From a Songwriter's Point of View by Donald Lawrence and the Tri-City Singers. Just different people, and perform with different people, and got to, you know, play and perform with a lot of different folks. But it's been a wonderful journey, you know. And one of my first teachers was Bill Hanna, and when I got off the road with Jane in 1990, he had a jam session in his house, and we moved it to this club, and it's still going today. So we try to do it. And once COVID-19, we get past that, we were doing it at a place called Petra's every Sunday night.
Oh yeah.
And it's a give back thing. You know, it's an opportunity for anybody, whether you're a seasoned musician or a younger guy trying to learn to play, to come out and sit in, you know, with some cats, and it's like a jam session. So we've been keeping that going for, like, I don't know, I mean, it's 20 years now, I guess.
Really?
30 years. God.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You know, to find ways to give back, you know, because we gain so much through doing music, you know, and that's always a great way a good thing to find a way to give back to the community, and also help the next, you know, up and coming musicians, help them get their feet wet and get some experience as well.
Right. My good friend Andre Ferreri helps me with it now. You know, Bill had to bow out for a while because his health wasn't so good, and we miss him, but we do it in his name, you know. It'll always be the Bill Hanna Jazz Jam. And you know, Andre Ferreri, you know Andre, right?
Absolutely. Andre's playing on a couple of our songs, right?
Yeah.
Andre did 2 songs with us.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's the gentleman we shouted out earlier in the feed.
Yeah. I remember
Okay.
Yeah.
coming
Okay.
to the studio
Great.
Okay.
over when we were at Studio East, correct?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Here's
yeah.
another question, Ziad from Reed Farber. Ask Ziad about playing upside down.
Oh, he's a good one. He's got a good one. So when I got out of
Great story.
I call him Apollo Reed.
Nice.
When we got
Apollo Reed.
when we got out of I got out of college, I went out on the road with this band called Times Square, and it was a beautiful thing. It was 2 Jewish guys, trombone and trumpet, and a little Palestinian guy in the middle, Afro, and we were the horn section, and it was the trumpet player and the trombone player's band. They owned the band. That's where I met Rodney Shelton, Charles Hairston, and so they used to be in a band with Cortez Greer, and they did a lot of acrobatics on stage, maybe you would call it.
Okay.
So one day I remember them saying, "Hey Z, listen, when your solo comes up, just turn around and face the back of the stage." He said, "Me and Jebby, we're gonna lock our arms around behind your neck and under your knees, and when it's time for your solo, we're gonna flip you up." So yeah, all blood rushed into my head. I played like some 16-bar solos upside down.
That's wild.
Nice.
And Reed's
That's
dad
wild.
was Larry Farber. His dad was the guy who was the agent manager for that band. So
Yeah.
that's where Reed found out about it, I'm sure.
I'm sure he did.
That's definitely an interesting approach. You know, I never would have come up with that. How did the solo come out?
Oh, okay. All right.
It came out cool though. The solo came out all right.
Yeah, it was a trip, man. It was kind of weird doing it, but you know, most people live and die, play music, and never play a solo upside down.
That's
so I feel
very
like
true.
maybe I should consider myself fortunate, right?
Yeah, definitely, man. That's
Boy, I've done
legendary.
it all, Ken.
What?
I said, boy, I've done it all, man. You know, we need to get you upside down before you're done
we're
with
gonna have
this.
to. Or you're on the beach solo. Let Brandon and Thomas carry you around out there in the audience.
I'll pay good money to see that.
Oh yeah.
That would be hilarious.
Yeah, wow.
That would be hilarious. Well, Ziad, now one of our guests that we previously had on the show, Miss Michelle Renee, and one of our upcoming guests, Rodney Shelton, you're in a band with the 2 of them, correct?
Yeah, the Mo Money Band.
Mo Money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started that band when I got off the road, and nobody was paying for jazz at that time, and I saw some cats were doing R&B, so I got some guys together, Charles Hairston, and we started this band originally playing 60s R&B, and then it just morphed into one thing after another, and ended up being a private party band with East Coast Entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And why don't we take a look at you guys in action, Mo Money Band?
All right.
Let's get it.
As long as I got my suit and tie, I'ma leave it up on the floor tonight. And you got fixed up through the night. Let me show you a few.
Because you know that I am all about that bass, no treble. I'm all about that bass, no treble. I'm all about that bass,
Carolina girls,
Carolina girls,
sweet southern pearls,
Carolina girls.
my darling, I can't get enough of your love, babe. Girl, I don't know why I can't get enough of your uptown funk you up, uptown funk you up,
More money.
Good stuff
Nice
there.
promo video, isn't it?
More money.
Yeah.
I got a question. Now, when y'all play Carolina Girl, do you play my solo? We heard Carolina
I
Girl.
have before.
Yeah, nice.
I have before.
Okay.
There have been times.
We also is Shelly Clark White still on here?
What's that? Oh,
Is Shelly available?
There she is.
Hey, Shelly, how you doing?
Did you hear the last song
Which one?
by Earth, Wind and Fire? Was it
September.
September?
Yeah. So Mo Money is playing that song. What are your thoughts about that?
What do you mean, about them playing or about the song period?
Well, you know what about the song period? Because that's good about the song period.
Well, I kind of like it. I have to ask Ferdine. I don't know whether I don't know whether that was supposed to be like a #1 hit. I think that song kind of surprised them when it came out and it was so popular.
Okay.
I think they didn't think it was going to be have that kind of effect because it is still almost the most #1 song played in the world.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And it's timeless.
Very timeless.
And it's one that parents can listen to with kids. My son loves it. It's in his playlist too.
Wow.
You had a story with Edwin McCain being a big Earth, Wind and Fire fan. What was that story about?
oh, well, we were supposed to back him up, or we did back him up at something called Victory Junction over at the Fillmore here in Charlotte. And it's a big fundraiser, and he came in and we learned some of his hits. And we're in the dressing room chatting with him. We're a really nice guy, man. And he said, yeah, you know, a lot of people don't know this about me, but I was always the only white kid at the Zapp concert. And my dad would take me there. And he said, I'm an Earth, Wind and Fire maniac. And he said, I listen to Gratitude all the way through once a week.
Wow.
And I said, wow, that's surprising, you know? So I said, well, we're doing a little Earth, Wind and Fire medley during our set. So once we got on stage with him, I said, man, you missed it, man. You missed the Earth, Wind and Fire medley. He goes, oh, man. He starts playing the chorus to Can't Hide Love because they were doing something out front, like some kind of thing with a race car driver or something. And then he starts playing it. And we kind of caught a hold of the song, you know, and he goes, do y'all know it? And I'm like, yeah, we got it. And the singers were catching the harmony, you know, in whatever key he was doing, and we figured it out. He says, y'all got it? I said, yeah, we got it. So he said, let's do it. And it was time for us to start back. He turned around and sang Can't Hide Love. And it's totally outside what you would think would be his genre of music and what he was known for, and just sang the heck out of it, man.
Yeah.
It was like really special to see that, and things that you never know about people, right?
Absolutely, man. That's the beauty of music.
It is.
Discovery and all of that good stuff.
I mean, the group has influenced so many musicians, you know, around the world. Yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
they have because of September 21st. That day is now Earth, Wind and Fire Day in Los Angeles and Chicago.
Oh, nice.
Wow, that's cool.
Amazing.
That's really cool.
I saw Earth, Wind and Fire live at the Bojangles, right where it is, the Coliseum, man, in 1979.
Wow.
And all the singers in Charlotte were right up front with me, and they were all singing right along. So I had it in stereo, and the emotions were on it. Never forget that show the rest of my life.
That's awesome.
Nice.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, definitely shout out to Miss Shelly Clark White, also working with us here at That's My Story, and shout out to her husband, Mr. Verdine White, the legendary bassist for Earth, Wind and Fire.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know we had to
be on here with you, Miss White.
You know we had to bring you on real quick, Shelly.
Thank you. Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Always.
Pleasure to have you.
Sylvia Collins says to tell you hello, Shelly.
Oh, hey, Sylvia. I think we were just what do you call it? Back and forth on Facebook.
Oh,
Okay.
Cool.
A
little chat.
how can we reach you, Ziad? I mean,
Yeah, websites and all of that good stuff, Ziad.
Well, you can find bechtler.org and find me there with the jazz series, ziadsax.com.
Okay.
You can find Mo Money at East Coast Entertainment. And yeah,
there you go.
that's where I am.
Nice.
Good
nice.
stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm on
We have one
Facebook.
question. Let me see if I can find this question from Hattie Rogers real quick.
Okay. And viewers, make sure you go over to
education.
viewers, make sure you go over to YouTube and like and subscribe our page before we get out of here. I think we getting ready to wrap it up, but we're going to take a couple of questions. The official Chairman of the Board page on YouTube. Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
See here. Okay.
Okay.
Music courses have been eliminated. Children with low income family. What would I suggest that parents do for their gifted young ones?
Good question.
Well, you know, I wish I had a better answer, a great answer. I think that in COVID-19, it's a shame that, you know, people are at home like that, but there's the Zoom thing, learning, having lessons over Zoom is what everybody's doing. I know a lot of musicians that are teaching their students over Zoom, and I would highly suggest that. And, you know, check out as many live stream performances and you know, there's so much on YouTube now that you can learn to play just about anything.
That's true.
On YouTube, you know.
Yeah.
I told my students I make them watch a Miles Davis interview where he talks about going over to visit Dizzy. Dizzy talks about him going over there to learn one note off a record, off a song. I'm like, well, you don't have to go anywhere except your computer, and it's all right there.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And they can also always tune into That's My Story and get music education and simply parents just simply encourage your child if they have an instrument. That, man, I remember being like 2 or 3 years old and was infatuated with drums. I was pulling pots and pans out the bottom of the stove, you know. So if there's any type of way, like you got the actual instrument or what have you, just simply encourage them, because we are in some uncertain times and we don't know what the end result is going to be. But in the meantime, simply encourage your child. You know.
Here's one more question, Brandon, from Matt Musa. What's it like playing with James Brown? What was it like in the studio with him?
It was a trip. You know, they gave us the rundown before he showed up, like
Mr. Brown.
Don't speak to him until spoken to. No hats on backwards, no baseball caps on backwards.
Wow.
And you know, everybody is Mr. or Ms. in his presence. So he came in and he said, all right, what you got? And they played the track for him, and he was with Bobby Bird, who I got to talk to. That was a rush.
Okay.
And they went out and he said, let's go cut this. They went out there and cut it in one take.
Wow.
James Brown used to say, first take, he said, talk about takes. He said, first take, God. Second take, something you made up. And
wow, that's an interesting take on that.
Yeah, man. And yeah, so I, you know, the track ran out. The TV cameras came in. They replayed it, and that speakers were going. Everybody went into the lobby. I stayed in the control room, and he stayed in the recording room because he was fascinated with organs and pianos. And he started playing this piano, and the track finally ran out. And before it ran out, he stopped playing piano and started doing all his James Brown dances, right?
Wow.
And I'm the only one in there watching it. So when the track ran out, he looked up at me and I put my hands in the air like this. He did the bow, right? And yeah, he was really, really nice. And, you know, he thanked us and complimented our work on the record. And yeah, it was very cool. And I knew a lot of guys in his band over the years, so I've heard a lot of great stories about Mr. Brown. But yeah, it was really nice to actually be in his presence. Yeah, I wish I had a picture with me with him, because
I know, right? That was probably that was probably a part of the rundown.
Yeah. Well, there were some cats. I'll say this: there were some cats with guns that accompanied him.
Oh, I could imagine.
A lot of bodyguards around, you know.
Yeah, yes, wow. I could imagine that being so. Yes. Well, guys, if we're all done with questions from the viewership,
there's one more. Ziad,
one more?
Is that your brother? Yeah,
yeah, that's my brother.
And he's saying play to music.
I'm not sure what he's saying.
Play to music.
I have to ask him
Ziad and Diab.
If you dance to the music, you got to
pay to the piper.
I'm
not sure either.
He was a sax player too, but he got up into rock climbing, and he's a major rock climber and cycler and kayaker. Man, he's a big outdoors guy.
Yeah,
he's a brilliant guy. He's my rock.
Yeah, nice. Sail over your mom, man. Sail on. Is she doing okay?
I will, man. She's doing great. She's 90.
Whoa!
I was over there today taking some groceries over there, like we all do.
Good man.
Still wearing masks, and you know how it works.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, as we sign off, man, what an honor it's been to be on the show and to be included, and I am just beyond honored to be here with all of you, and thank you for having me. This has been a great experience, and it means quite a bit to me just to be here with all of you, and especially Ken, my longtime brother and friend.
It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. Been a pleasure.
Thank you, man. You're incredible.
Yep.
So are you, bro.
And we're getting your links up one more time, real quick.
Oh yeah. Y'all know
we're gonna. Yes, indeed. Well, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you take down these links. Check out Ziad if you're in the Charlotte area. Stop by the Bechtler Museum. You know, this has been another awesome episode. This has been episode 8. Make sure you like and subscribe, Facebook, YouTube, and continue to join us weekly. We thank you all for your support. We hope everybody has a great evening. Please stay safe. Share this video with your friends. We greatly appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week.
All right.
Peace.
Good night.